Good morning. Welcome to Storytime with Ranger Dena. Today, you'll notice by the festiveness of the hat and the decorations behind me, we are filming the holiday special today. We are filming in the Devoto Memorial Cedar Grove. As you'll recall, we filmed here back Memorial Day weekend. Definitely looks different than it did then. We've had several inches of snow, and you'll notice you keep seeing flurries in the background. It's because the snow is heavy and wet and the trees are dropping the snow. So I keep hearing ka-thwumps, and it's just the snow falling out of the trees. It's beautiful. So, because it is cold and winter, let's get right to the story. I should also mention, because we are so close to Highway 12, there's going to be vehicle noise, so thank you for your patience. So, A Christmas for Bear. My favorite, all-time favorite Christmas story. By Bonnie Becker, illustrated by Katie MacDonald Denton. You'll recognize this series from when we filmed down at Snowshoe Falls. So, A Christmas for Bear. Trying to make sure you get to see the pictures. These books start with a little nugget of information about what we're going to be reading. So this is the one for A Christmas for Bear, and here comes the snow on top of me. Bear had never had a real Christmas. He had never had a tree with a sparkling star, or candy canes, or even gingerbread bears. But he'd read a lot about it. Clearly, the most important thing was pickles. A holiday with pickles I can get behind. One frosty night, Bear heard a tap-tap-tapping on his front door. When he opened the door, there was Mouse, small and gray and bright-eyed. "Merry Christmas!" cried Mouse. "Maybe," said Bear. Bear had agreed to have a Christmas party. He'd never had one before. "Do we open the presents first?" Mouse asked eagerly. "Presents?" Bear shook his head. "Most unseemly." Yep, and you can see Mouse there looking for the presents. We just got a big old flop of snow. Okay. What? Mouse's eyes opened wide. "No presents?" "We shall sit around the tree and eat. I might even read a poem. Surely that will do," Bear declared. Then Bear went to the kitchen to get the Christmas pickles. But when he came back, no Mouse. "Mouse, where are you?" Mouse didn't answer. Where do you think Mouse is? Bear heard a tiny scurrying noise. It was coming from upstairs. Bear climbed the stairs to his bedroom. The scurry sound was under his bed.
Mouse?
Yes?
Came a muffled voice. Are you looking for a present?
Mouse peeped out from under the bed. He had a bit of dust on his nose. Perhaps, said Mouse. We just got a whole handful of snow in the middle of the book. Fortunately, this is my book, and I'm not ruining a library book. Oh, did you see Mouse? Right there. With the bit of dust on his nose. Right there. Yes, good spotting.
Unnecessary hogwash,
Bear scolded.
We have pickles, remember?
Oh, said Mouse. And Mouse trudged behind Bear back to the living room. Bear went to the kitchen to get the cheese. Oh my goodness, all the times I've read this book, I have missed this picture. Do you see what Mouse is doing? Yes. He's peeking for a present. I have read this book so many times, and I have missed that picture every time. I'm so glad you were here to help me find it. But when he got back to the living room, no Mouse.
Mouse, you're looking for a present again, aren't you?
Maybe, came a tiny voice. It was out in the hall. Bear opened the closet door. There was Mouse, small and gray and guilty-eyed. Not even a tiny present.
The pickles are from France,
declared Bear. But surely.
And furthermore, continued Bear, I shall be reading a long and difficult poem.
Then Bear headed back to the kitchen to get the cookies. But before he got there, he quietly turned and tiptoed back to the living room. No Mouse, of course.
Mouse!
Mouse scampered out from behind the tree, tinsel dangling from one ear.
Pickles and poems, bellowed Bear. That is the Christmas spirit.
Yes, Bear, sighed Mouse. Oh, good spotting. You see him with the little bit of tinsel behind his ear. Mouse sat in front of the crackling fire. Bear served them pickles and cheese and cookies and tea smelling of cinnamon and oranges. Bear nibbled and sipped. Mouse did too, but his tail was sad. Bear cleared his throat. Mouse looked up. There they are, nibbling and sipping. And there's Mouse, not looking especially happy.
"'Twas the night before Christmas," Bear pronounced, "when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse."
Bear stared sternly at Mouse. "The pickles are wonderful," whispered Mouse.
Bear continued, "The stockings were hung by the chimney with care."
Bear paused and glanced over at Mouse. Mouse took a mournful bite of his pickle.
"The stockings were hung by the chimney with care,"
Bear repeated more loudly.
"The stockings!"
Did you see Mouse's reaction? I love these books, I do. Mouse leapt up, his eyes as bright as Christmas candles. "You do have a present for me!" he cried, pointing at the mantel. "You have stockings!"
"Certainly not. Impossible. Monstrous assumption," rumbled Bear.
But he was smiling. Mouse scrambled into his stocking and popped back out with a package wrapped in sparkling red paper. Bear looked on eagerly as Mouse tore off the wrapping.
"It is the best present ever," Bear announced proudly, "even if it's not a pickle."
Inside was a shiny silver telescope. How exciting! I am packing down the snow, so it is getting slippy right here where I'm standing. And the snow keeps falling all around us. What a beautiful day. Bear hurried Mouse out into the crisp winter night. Mouse pointed the telescope toward the glowing moon. "Most wonderful," Mouse said softly. "Thank you, Bear."
"Yes, indeed."
Mouse smiled, then looked at Mouse.
"Well?"
"What?" Mouse was busy studying the stars with his new telescope. "Mouse! You didn't forget, did you?" Bear looked most stricken. "Pickles and poems," said Mouse. Then he turned the telescope toward a nearby fir tree. "And presents." There, peeking out from the snowy branches, was a big red bow. Bear hurried over and pulled out a wooden sled with shiny red runners.
I've always wanted a sled with shiny red runners, said Bear. Thank you, Mouse. You are... Bear swallowed. You are an excellent companion, someone of whom I am most fond.
You're my best friend too, said Mouse with a happy flick of his whiskers. Merry Christmas, Bear.
Merry Christmas, Mouse, cried Bear.
Then Mouse and Bear jumped on the sled and swooped down the hill under the shining stars of Christmas. That was just delightful. Thank you so much for being here today for the story time. And from Storytime with Ranger Dena, we want to wish everyone, whatever you observe or don't observe, we hope you have a really nice day and that you can find some joy in nature, the forest, maybe a little joy in story time. We're happy that you're here. Anyway, sending you all a hug from Storytime with Ranger Dena. Oh, stick around for bonus features. Welcome to Craft Corner at Storytime with Ranger Dena. Today, because it's the holiday special, we thought it would be fun to include a craft. So today we are making yarn stocking caps, and you can use them as single ornaments. You can put a group of them together as a garland, or I think the most cute and sweet and special thing is to take a little treat and tuck it inside and give it to someone that you love. So let's begin. It's very minimalist supplies. You need yarn, scissors, toilet paper tube. Turns out toilet paper tubes are sturdier than paper towel tubes, so recommend toilet paper tubes because they're stronger and you can pull the yarn tighter on them. So to get started, if you're these can be measured into 1/2 inches. I'll show you that in a second. I got the yarn wrapped before I thought about it. But you can wrap the yarn around a ruler and it helps have uniform pieces. So then you can just snip, slide your yarn off, snip it, slide the other end off, whoops, snip those, whoops, missed one, and then you have your yarn. Okay, so to measure your toilet paper tube, you can just put your ruler up, and every 1/2 inch, make a little mark. When I made these before, I did not measure, I just cut. But if you have limited toilet paper tubes, you can just make 1/2 inch marks, and you should be able to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a little squidge out of it. So then you just take your scissors. I'm going to turn it around so we can get a good 1/2 inch. Kind of pinch it a little bit and then just scissor right through it. and I made it crooked anyway. So, but anyway, you have a rough idea how to get the most out of your toilet paper tube. So then you take your little ring here, and I have some yarn already cut. It takes, if you're using a thinner yarn, it takes more because you're obviously filling up a space with much thinner material. Whereas if you use the big chunky yarn, you can whip through one in short order because you can see how much they fill up. Much different. So the strings, put your strings through first, take the little loop over the top of the strings, pull it down, and kind of snug it up, just like that. Let's do another one so that we get the idea. So fold your yarn in half, put the little legs up through there, take your little loop, pull the strings through the loop, scoochie it over so it snugs up to its friend, tighten it down, and there you go. And you just keep going around until you're all filled up to this other side. Okay, so when you have all of your yarns on, you gather these guys up in a twist, kind of twist them up, and you're going to feed it back through, smush, 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 through the tube there, and then just kind of shake it out so it gets kind of even, and kind of tuck your little bits up so that they're even as well. This part is delightfully tactile, makes my fingers super happy. So then you just kind of gather the extra yarn up, and I usually use a contrasting color just for fun, and you wrap your little piece of yarn or whatever you want to use about, I don't know, an inch up, whatever makes you happy. If it makes you happy, just wherever you feel like putting, because that will be the crown of your stocking cap. So tie a little knot, flip it over, tie another little knot. I like to knot the bejeebers out of everything, so I usually tie 3 just because, and then finish it off with a full-on proper knot. Bloop. And you can trim your little strings off. Whoops, I lost that one. You can trim this off. And so you'll notice it is adorable. However, we kind of have a lot of floof to hat, a lot of palm to hat ratio. So if you want this to look a little tidier, just kind of wherever, again, this is very open to interpretation, whatever you want to do. I'm going to snip this off, just kind of trim it a little bit, give our stocking cap a haircut, if you will, and now just floof that out. Isn't that just adorable? There we go. And so you can make all kinds of these. I know what I was going to share. So you saw that we had some bits and bobs left, some scraps. I saw a craft where someone took clear Christmas ornaments and gathered up their thread. Well, I don't have any clear Christmas ornaments, so I do, however, save every bottle I've ever used. I have a beautiful taco sauce bottle, so just tuck those in there. And it's just cute. And it's a way to, I don't know, if you don't want to throw your scraps away, it's a way to just look at them and just be happy. So, anyway, thank you for joining us today. I hope that was good enough instructions. I hope you have lots of fun making these. And thank you again for hanging out at Craft Corner.